Hello once again, fellow gaming fans. I'm Small Archangel, and welcome to Rising World Medieval Town, which is starting to take shape. We've got the real essentials of the town in place now. We've got our farm for food, we've got our smithy and our carpenter's workshops, but we are still only partway into what is going to be a really quite epic undertaking. But before we get on with this week's installment, I've decided, unfortunately, the only way of getting shot of the animals who insist on clipping through my structures is the terminal one. So we're going to get some bacon out of this as well. So there we go. I'm afraid that they get stuck. Basically, they get stuck through my structures and then they never ever go away. And it's all a bit silly. There we go, and there's one more. There's a pig which has been stuck through the water trough in front of our external forge forever. It's for your own good, piggy, because you ain't never getting away from there, are you? Oh, and we've got some pigskin out of that one as well. Super. There we go. Okay, so at the moment, having no wet place to call home, really, sort of the farm, I suppose. I'm kind of sticking food in here for the minute. We've got hide there as well. Eventually, we're gonna have houses around this place as well. The nearest thing we've got to a house at the moment is a farmhouse, and of course, it's not very near at all. It's really quite a long way away, so that is a problem there. Okay, guys, so I'm going to start by showing you our completed carpentry workshop, which we sort of finished last week, but I've done, as per usual, a little bit off camera, and you can see I've added those images to the ends of our logs, which looks pretty good. These logs sort of look like they've been already debarked. That is what I mean to say, they've had the bark taken off them, but that might have happened, quite honestly. There we go. Particularly pleased with this saw, which looks pretty good. I actually managed to place the image of a saw blade, which is double-sided, as you can see, and then take out the plank of wood that was supporting it. So the saw is now embedded nicely and authentically through the center of our log there. It's just a pity that all the logs are absolutely the same diameter, but there's really not a lot that we could do about that. Remember to keep your comments coming and give us your suggestions if you feel like having your name placed on any of our workshop, or any of our buildings. Quite honestly, there's going to be more and more buildings as we go, so we can call even houses after specific subs and specific viewers, and I think that'd be quite nice and sort of bring the whole thing together a little bit. Please do bear in mind with the comments, as ever, I am a week behind, as it were, because I work on pre-records, which means that as at time of viewing, at time of release, I made this a week previous, so that means if it seems a little bit of a lag between comments and being replied to and all the rest of it, and what I say in videos, that is why. Okay, there we go. Otherwise, inside here, pretty much the same. We've got a few little tools hanging up on the wall there, and when I saw some more images, which can be a little bit difficult, because of course you have to make them transparent too if they're not already. I will hang some more on there, and we'll also probably need some more tools hanging up here too. But I also extended our workbench here, as I said I was going to do, by just kind of basically free building this table, which actually just has open slats at the top, because I thought that that might be quite a good place for timbers to go to be dried out, which was per a suggestion by Ed Ford, who said that every carpenter needed a drying rack. Now, that's not ever such a big one, yeah, we'd probably need to put something outside our build, really, for that, to sort of, really dry out large pieces of lumber. But, yeah, so, and I haven't got ever so much space. And, yeah, whatever I do, I probably get it wrong because I ain't a carpenter. I take an interest in history, but medieval I ain't, and a carpenter, I'm not a carpenter either, or anything else. So I'm just doing my level best here, folks. All right, so on to the next phase of our project. So we're obviously going to need some shops in our town and village, and thank you to those of you who've already suggested various things, sort of along the lines of you need a bit of this, or you need, they're very much appreciated. And you're entirely right, we do need things like an ale house or inn or tavern, call it what you will, and we will definitely have one of those, but that's a little bit further down the road, quite literally down that road to be precise. For the moment, we're going to concentrate on our marketplace area, Of course, you have to bear in mind that a medieval town would be rather more built up than this, and probably the buildings would be rather more closed together and cramped in. But at the same time, you see any medieval town, generally speaking, they are rather older, than this one is. We're building this kind of almost at the time. And therefore, yeah, basically what you could expect is that gradually over time, buildings encroach upon one another. And of course, we haven't got to that stage yet. It's still very countrified around here. And I'm not aiming for everything to be completely higgledy-piggledy crammed on top of each other anyway. We're going for the first build before the more modern stuff comes along. That is our plan here. That is our aim. Okay, so what is today's project? Well, as you can see, I have been organised and I have managed to make I've basically just levelled this little plot here, which should be sufficiently big for our purposes. We're probably going to lose a light at some point, but that always happens several times during a build. We're going to be building here some shops. So we're basically going to have shops here, and I envisage probably some shops over on the other side here. We've got a relatively level bit here as well by the look of it. So before it kind of goes uphill a little bit, which it does, we're going to have a road on this side. We have a road on this side, which is kind of going uphill a little bit. But before that happens, we're probably going to have some shops here as well. Now look at that. Probably want to, I'll eat that. Why not? There we go. I probably want to get rid of that. So let's just do this. There we go. Now, I'm not averse to the idea, in point of fact, of using the copy, well, not quite copy and paste. We'll have to make some blueprints, and using blueprints to kind of place builds. For example, we could build shops over there, and then possibly, as long as it looks okay, place them over this side as well. We can't, I don't think, rotate blueprints at the moment, so it would have to be on exactly the same axis, so facing the same direction. But that would kind of work for here. So we might do that. Okay, so for the time being then, what do we need? Well, we're going to construct as much as we can during the time of this week's episode. And we're going to use the blacksmiths as our base for the moment because it's closer than anywhere else. Also had a bed in it so I can sleep the night away. Let's have a little look at our favourites. Now for this one, we're actually looking at a 14th century structure rather than 13th century, which means that it's a little bit more sophisticated, she says. Not ever so, to be quite honest. Not ever so at all. So most of our blocks are actually going to be wattle and daub. So we've got our rough plaster there, and then of course we are also going to need, and I have some logs, wood planks and wood beams. Yeah, we're going to need wood beams. Now I haven't got any lumber at the moment. Oh, can we make resources, lumber, max? Well, hey, lots of lumber, jolly good. And then we're going to need to make lots of beams as per usual, and as per usual, we're going for the Jacobean black. Oops, which I just missed. Stop spinning. I do wish I could set that as default. Gives me a headache. Well, why did I do that now? We're going to need a lot more than that, aren't we? Let's just make ourselves a bunch of these. I'm not going to max it because we're going to need a little bit for other things too. But I am going to perhaps make myself 50 of these. There we go. That should be enough. We're going to need them for other structures too. And it looks like we're going to run out of light very, very soon. But we'll just set out our boundaries for this place first. So we've got our shop fronts facing the road here. There we are. And we'll probably cut the grass to reflect that once we've got this sort of straightened out. But there's actually going to be a pair of shops here. So we're talking about, I think, a pair of shop fronts with two buildings. So this is going to look a little bit less standalone, a little bit more built up and perhaps terracey. Because by the 14th century, we're getting a little bit more crowding in buildings. 20, 21. Do we want an odd number or do we want an even number? I think we probably want an even number. Let me just backtrack and not go quite into the grass. Let's start it from there and see how far along we can go. Okay, there we go. So night has fallen again, so we'll hop into the bed at the blacksmith's and we'll carry on in the morning. Alrighty, so here we have our basic build. Now, this building being, as I said, 14th century, slightly later than our other buildings, a little bit of a Johnny-come-lately, is actually going to be taller as well. It's going to be not a very wide or big structure, but a taller structure. So we're starting to build upwards. Yes, some more blocks would be good. So I'll just mark out my corners. We're going to have to do our usual thing of Now I do I have my, yeah, I do have my scaffolding handy, so that's good. We're going to need that at some point, but I might just nerd pole to get these corners sorted out. So we're going to have this first floor, this first story, our usual 4 blocks high, or do we need it? We probably need to go 5 blocks. There we go. I can do that without hurting myself. There we go. There we are. So there's our corners. And we're probably going to want some windows, but probably not at the back at all. So I think we can safely, obviously we're going to need a load more blocks than I've currently got at my disposal. Oops. My gaming mouse, I think it's on its way out, folks. I think it's dying. It gets a lot of battering, and it keeps cutting out and doing weird things to me. So if I seem to be losing control and placing stuff in random, blame it on the mouse. There we go. So we're going to need quite a few more blocks than we've got crafted at the moment, I think. Let's see. We have a few more there as well. Let's just work out where we're going to have some windows. Now, obviously, we're not going to have any windows at that level. So let's just fill in the sides here. There we go. And we're not going to have any windows right in the corners. We're probably going to have a window sort of smack bang at the side there. We're going to have windows at the front. Sort of. But we want windows for light at the side here. So let's see what we've got here. We've got 9. Well, that's a little inconvenient. So let's just work out. We could have perhaps a slightly wider window than we normally would, like that. Yeah, I like that. So we've got one that's 3 blocks wide, and we'll do the same at the other side. Okay, there we go. So we've got some sort of long-ish windows at the side, which will, like everything else, look better once. At the moment, this thing looks just like a great big lump. Eventually, it will look rather better than this. But now we've got the front wall, the all-important front wall to sort out, which is basically going to be our shop frontage. So I'm hoping this is going to be tall enough, folks. This is probably going to be a good, around 1 block left. We probably a good time to set up our scaffold, actually. And I might just set it up alongside this end wall here, like so. There we go. And I might just use, for the moment we don't need that one, we'll have the short one, and we'll place the short one up against the end there, where it's supposed to go. There we are, and then we can get up there and access the top, the taller part. I don't know how many of the floors we're going to manage to put in today, folks. We're just going to have to see how we can get on. In our limited episode time and my limited editing time. All right, so we've got our shop frontage to work out, and here we're going to have to just kind of apportion this. So I'm intending a doorway to be there. So we'll go to there, and then we need a shop doorway also there. So we know that they're 2 blocks wide. There we go. And then we probably need to do, oh my goodness, let's just do it like this. This is probably the easiest way to make a doorway like that. Like so. There we go. So that's your doorway either side. And I might round the top of those doorways off, and possibly the windows. I don't know. If I round off those doorways, then you know I'll do that after the fact. We'll just leave them like that for the moment. They just look a little bit too kind of modern and straight for the moment. And then the other thing we need to do is that, just to kind of chop that off. And then basically what we're going to have here is a front. Basically this is going to be our shop window right here, or shop windows, because as I say, there's going to be 2 of them. Now, can I divide this in half? We've got 12 there. And actually what we probably want is we want these to be even either side. So in actual point of fact, we might want to think about either making this whole thing a block smaller or making it a block larger in order to facilitate that, because what we probably want is an uneven number of blocks either side, and then we can have a separation in between, like so. And at the moment it's going to be a little bit big, I think. So I think we probably want 5. And then we want the 6th, like that, to be Yeah, like that. So let's just work on that basis. I need to place that there, and then we're going to have our doorway a block further over in this direction. Okay, there we go. I think we've got that now. That's still in the right position, and we have a slightly narrower frontage. There we go, with our windows there. What I might decide to do ultimately, I might decide that it's better, in fact, to not. Going to leave those there as a marker for the moment, I think, of where the centre is. But what I might decide is better ultimately is to just have a wooden post there. Likewise here, possibly actually, which is why we're going to need all of those pillars that we had before. We're definitely going to need lots of those. So that's what we're going to do next, I think, is we're going to start work with our wood and make this kind of, yeah, obviously like our other buildings with the timbering. This is what we need here now. Okay, so let's find our wood beams. We've got 50 of these to begin with. I think we might have the odd one hanging around here and there as well. But for now, we're just going to use these ones now. Where to start? Probably, and we need G on for this. We need to make some really, ooh, heck, not perhaps quite that big. We need to make some quite robust. Let's just see how big we actually, wow. Okay, so we can actually make these literally the size of a block, can't we? So, that's not a bad thing, actually. That's quite a good thing. Okay, so first of all, we probably want some fairly robust ones to go, and perhaps even, is that too tall? Probably. Let's just shrink it down. I can't really see what height that is. There we go. So we're perhaps going to do this with G, and maybe we're not going to need to use G. It's kind of difficult to tell at this point. Now, is that going all the way down? Yes, it is. Okay, so that's quite a thick piece of wood there, but that is probably about right. Let's just see if we can, you see, without G, I've no idea where that's going, whereas if I put that there, that is actually on the corner of the building. So we'll replicate that on the other side. There we go, and probably on all four corners. There we are, because this is going to form the basis of our, oopsie, our timbering. It doesn't want to go in the right position there at all. There. We have to look at it from just the right angle to get it to go in the right position. There we are. And then we're going to want some on these walls as well. Now that does not look like it's going all the way to the floor to me. So that kind of does want to go all the way to the floor. There we go. And maybe, no, I don't think we want that any bigger actually. So we'll just put it, now you see that's not right, is it? So for this I'm going to need my crowbar in my hands. Not a very medieval tool. I'm sure they had something similar, but not quite the same. Right. So, that will go through the floor, but only if... Right. Can I just make this thing big enough, please? So that it actually goes into the floor there. Now, that's probably about right. Can I see the top? It's sticking way over the top now, which isn't very cool. Okay, we'll go for that. If it sticks up a little bit above, we can probably handle that. We can deal with that. There we go. Okay, and then we need to turn this beam, over, turn it to the side, and this time I think it would be quite good if we could make it even bigger. That said, I'm not sure. Let's see. That's a full block. Okay. Maybe what we need to do, I want to experiment with this. If we can make this a full block in size, it might actually be quite good to try taking this out and just placing wood there straight away. Okay, so let's try this. Now, I want to get this in the right place, but I'm not sure if it will consent to go where I want it to go. So this is where things get awkward, because I haven't got anything exactly to line it up against, and I want it to go there. And at this point I may as well just use wood blocks rather than wood beams, but if I can get this to work, it will go through the doorway. It will be more efficient than using wood beams. Just the trouble is, it's quite difficult to get it where you want it. Am I going to have to use G to do this? Because it's not wanting to go because of where those beams are. So I might have to rethink that one. Let's just see. I can put one against there. But then where does it go to? I don't know because I can't see. Let's just try that. It goes to there, which is more or less where I want it. And then I should be able to see if I can get one on this end as well. Let's just shrink that down in size. There we go. Okay, so we're probably going to need to put an upright post in there, which means that, I don't know, we're perhaps going to need to take out this. I don't know. I might possibly change this around a little bit so that these pillars here are wood too, and then this is just all this wood here. This structure is all wood. That might look better. I might give it a go. Let's just try with this central one, because it might look more like what we're trying to achieve here. Okay, here we go. So we're ready to put some more timbers on here now. Obviously we're going to need some more on the other side of the doorway. Now, have I got... Yeah, I want that to be sort of symmetrical there. And as I say, I'm not absolutely certain at the moment whether I'm going to have that, you know, I'm going to make that out of... more sort of timber the whole of it, or whether I'm going to leave it like that. But one thing's for sure, we do need another timber there like that. I quite like that central pole just being timber, and so I might have to do exactly the same thing with the piece either side of the door, these bits of frame here. I'll have the wattled door sort of down at the bottom there, but I would quite like to have just pieces of wood here and here as well, some very, very large beams. And then we're going to need some smaller beams in there. So first of all, let's just, I don't know whether to hotbar my crowbar or my sledgehammer at the moment, so let's have both. Okay, there we go. So we've got timber on all sides now. And the reason we definitely don't want timber here is because that is going to be, that's meant to be wattle and daub. So we're going to put in some horizontals now. First and foremost, I think we probably want some at the footings here. I'm not absolutely sure I've put that in kind of the right place, really. There we go. That's going to go across there nicely. That's good. And we need two more. Here, which is going off the edge, so that's obviously too long. Let's just shrink it down a bit. And I can't, whoops, can't see if that's where it wants to be now. This is the main problem I find with these, is judging whether they're actually the right length or no. And if I put that there now, I'll probably find it's not. No, it's not. Very difficult to tell. Give me that back. Let's try that again. So we know that's got to be longer. And this one on this side should be the same length, really, provided we can get it to behave. There it is. That's where it wants to go. And then we probably want to do something kind of similar at the top possibly as well. But I'm not absolutely certain about that, so we'll leave that for the time being. But what we are going to need is we're going to need some somewhat thinner, I think. And if I can get that to go the full length of this, I will. There we are, and that's a smaller kind of size, so that's better for our timbering. And then we're going to flip that vertical. Oops, I need to shrink it down a little bit. There we go, and about the same size. Go on, get in there for the center of there, like that. So it looks like we've got some sort of wood structuring going on there. And then we're probably going to want to put something across the top of our doors to sort of make it look more like a lintel as well. That size, or possibly that size there. There we are. That is starting to take shape now. So we might want a couple more uprights there, but actually I think that's more or less okay at the moment. I might build some plank sort of shelves sticking out here so that there's more to put goods on, because that's kind of what this is about. And then again, I might build more sort of counter space in here so that the windowsills kind of extend into the shop somewhat as well. Quite whether people would have entered the shops or done most of their bartering through these windows, I think the latter, to be honest. I think the latter, but I'm not absolutely certain. And then what I'm probably going to do is, likewise, this bit here, this post here, I'm probably going to make that timber as well. And then we're going to have to do, whoops, that isn't what I meant. We're going to have to make, let's see, it probably wants to be a narrow one like that as well. We're probably going to have to put, likewise, this timbering all the way on the inside as well. And then we have these windows, the size that we need to sort out as well. And what we might do with those is I'll give them a similar treatment to these windows that we've got in the blacksmiths, and we've also now got in the farmhouse and in the. But I might give them a slightly different spin. Literally, we might sort of try placing. I don't know. We might try putting them the other way around, possibly. Let's just see. Window frame A. And is that the black wood? I believe it is. We just need 2 of those for the moment. We've got 3. Oh, well, never mind. I forgot I had one already. Okay, and then these are going to be sort of longer and shallower. I think they're at the right height already, however. So let's just extend these out a touch. There we go. And one for the other side as well. There we go. And then we're going to do our usual thing. Hit G again. Take this down to the same kind of thickness as the window frame. There we are. Extend the length of it. Oh, is that right? I believe it is. And plug that in the middle there, like that. And we'll do the same there. And then what I want to do is actually make it thinner and do that. How's that look? I don't know. I quite like that. I think that's quite nice. There we are. You kind of almost have to imagine this being mullioned. And by this point, we might possibly have had even glass in the panes. Not these ones. These are meant to be open, but these side ones, possibly we would have glass there. So, so there we go. And we'll have other windows further up as well. They're the only windows we're going to get here, really. But then we'll have windows in the upper stories also, which, yeah, will let light in. So you probably have a habitation above these shops. So we'll have 2 stories above here, neither of which should be very big, but probably, yeah, I think this might be like 1 shop as opposed to 2. I'm not entirely sure about that, to be honest. I might put a partition wall down the centre here, and then, yeah, we have 2 shops with 2 houses, 2 habitations, one above the other, because it's quite big for 1 shop, so I think we'll probably divvy it up. There we go. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was after, really. And then we are going to need, again, to put a little bit of wood on the inside of here just to finish that off. So this is going to be expensive in the wood, but necessary. Expensive, but necessary. Let's see. Is that what we're after? Yeah, I think it probably is. But we just want it to go there. And then the same thing here. I'm just going to have to shrink it back to fit there, like so. Fantastic. And we've now run out of beams, which is a shame. We need to put one in the middle there like we have outside, and possibly ones that are sort of opposite these ones too. So we have the same kind of look about it. There we go. Now, obviously we're going to have timbering all the way around the sides as well. But as I say, that's for muggins to go out getting as many trees as we can. This is why there's saplings all over the place, folks. I'm constantly chopping down trees. finishing off the timbering round the back also. It's going to look kind of similar to the timbering we've done on the other buildings too, but as you can see, there's even more timbering to be done here, and that is just because of our shop front. As I say, this building is going to be 2 stories high, so probably going to have a staircase sort of here-ish on either side, or possibly actually if we put in a central wall here dividing the 2 shops up, what we'll probably have is a staircase down that central wall in both places. Yeah, and what I would like to do really is see if we can have a crack at building a wooden staircase, but first of all let's just see. Oh, for goodness sake, come on mouse, play nice. Keeps losing contact. There we go. Is that going to look like the right kind of thing? I'm not entirely sure whether we should make the partition with this or not. Possibly we should. It's probably the best thing for the job, to be honest. And we've got lots of blocks spare at this point, so... And I might have got a little bit too high there, because that might be actually ceiling block. No, because we're going to need the dividing wall up above as well, aren't we? So let's just do that. There we go. So that's got that finished off. And then we'll probably have some stairs going up to the next floor in here. And as I say, it would be really nice if we could build those out of wood and wood planks. But I'm not sure how easy that is going to be to do. I'm going to need to think about that one. That could be a little labour intensive. We're going to need some wooden uprights, and this is only a shop. They're only really needing to be sort of relatively rough stairs at this point, and we could just make wooden block stairs. I suppose that might be easier. And then when we get to shall we say possibly slightly fancier builds without doing any spoilers, then we'll think about, you know, putting in some nicer looking staircases. So I shall do the suitable research for that. But for the moment, we are going to stick with our shop. Now, I've got some work to do off camera, as ever. I've got to basically put the timbering all the way around the outside. But before I do that, let's just see. Do I have any? No, I've got lots of lumber, though. Can we make some... Do we need tree trunks to make wood blocks out of? I have a horrible feeling we need tree trunks. Yeah, we need logs for that. So I'm thinking we should make some stairs possibly out of that, or possibly out of that. Either way, though, we're going to need some logs. Now, I do have some in our carpenters, appropriately enough. And then I'm going to need to go and do some logging, because I've run out of materials again, so I may as well use the carpenters for this. So we've got our favorites here. Let's see, what does stairs look like? Let's see if we can find our stairs. There they are, and those have kind of got the plank going the wrong way really, but I have a feeling these are going to have the plank going the wrong way also. Yeah, you see, really stairs should have the plank design going that way across horizontally, but they don't have. But there isn't a whole lot we can do about that, really, is there? Now, that makes 6, 12. We don't really need 18 of them, I don't think. So, there we go. And then we'll just get a few of these as well. And then we'll see if we can make a vaguely convincing looking staircase just to finish off with today. So, as ever, our floor is going to be at this level here. It's going to be this, you know, sort of... So, our stairs will probably need to start there. So, that's going to go to there, to there, to there. All right, so if our stairs are... If we start from the top, and they're somewhere near the back of the building, there. There we go. That should be in the right kind of position. Right. Uh-oh, that's not what I meant. There. Alright, so let's take these out. There we go. And we've got stairs left, but of course we're going to have to replicate this exact staircase on the opposite side. So we have enough to map them out at least like that. And then I'm going to need to make some more blocks to finish that job off. But the daylight has deserted us again, and we are going to leave this build for the time being. Yeah, it's a start. It's a start. It's going to have a couple more stories after that, and hopefully we'll get this done in maybe another 2 episodes, possibly 1 per story, depending on how much time I have to do things off camera. I'll do all the grind off camera, but I do like to do most of the building on camera, so I hope you guys appreciate that. Now we're going to need some lighting around the joint as well. We're going to need to make some more of these street lights too. They're pretty useful. They're pretty sparse at the moment. I haven't got ever so many of those. We perhaps need to light up our marketplace a little bit more as well. Not that it would have been really used at night, so I'm not particularly concerned about that. Okay, folks, so that is our shops so far. I'm going to see if I can find some gold ore enough to start making ourselves some blueprints, because we're going to need those blueprints when it comes to making more houses and possibly reproducing these shops elsewhere, though as I say, they will have to be on exactly the same orientation. So I don't know if they'll actually fit over the other side of the road there. They might not fit the space properly, and I might just have to I could take, I suppose, a blueprint of half of the building, but the roof would probably not work ever so well if I did that. So we'll just have to see. We might have to do each one separately, but there you go. Okay, guys, so I hope that you have enjoyed this episode of Rising World. If you have, please do let me know by hitting that like button, and also feel free, leave me your comments and your suggestions, all welcome. And I will see you guys next time we play Rising World or anything else on my channel. Till then, keep gaming, stay happy, and bye bye for now.